What's up, everybody? Thunder Bay personal trainer Logan Blake here. Just saw a new video today. Somebody linked me to this video. Recently I had a debate with Banana Princess Warrior about is organic carnist. Incredibly stupid topic. And I guess she's still butthurt that she didn't win that debate, so now she's making a whole series on how organic is carnist. So I'm just gonna let me just make sure my video is live streaming right now. Hold on one second here. Okay, it looks like we're good. Let me just pull this up so I could see the comments. Alright, perfect. Okay, so we're just gonna go through her video here and just debunk it section by section, because it's, you know, it's very easy to just weed through the BS on this video. So let's hop to it here. So here's her video right here. She basically, let me just let me turn on the camera here. There we go. Okay, so she basically just has the louder with Crowder set up here. How do I get, there we go. Okay, perfect. She has the louder with Crowder sign up here. Organic is carnist, changed my mind. Now, that's pretty funny because, you know, Crowder has that because Crowder has like a big platform, right? So it's kind of like a big deal to change his mind because he's got what, like millions of subscribers. You know, people pay to be like in his mug club, and you know, he's kind of a big deal on YouTube. The thing is, nobody needs to change your mind because your ideas and what you're standing for here is goofy. People will just be like, who cares what you think? You only have 6,000 subscribers. I'm just going to move on with my day. So really the only reason why I'm responding to this is because she put me a couple times in this video, at the beginning, at the end, I don't know, maybe in the middle. I didn't even watch the whole thing. I just kind of skimmed through it. You know how you skim like every 10 seconds. And it's just incredibly simple stuff to debunk. So she uses a lot of like cinematic stuff in this vid. She tries to make it all heartfelt, right? And I could really see why like a lot of meat eaters would be like, you know, it's kind of pathetic when you're using you know, animal agriculture footage, you know, because you're just trying to pull at my heartstrings instead of using logic, right? But the thing is, you know, in good videos, in good vegan videos, activist videos, they use logic and they use the footage, right? So this video is no logic and just footage to try to make you feel bad, right? And the arguments are just corny. So she's trying to make you think like, oh, you know, you're supporting, she uses like footage of like, you know, eggs and chickens and all this stuff. And she's like, you're supporting all this when you're buying organic plants and whatever. And it's really corny. But let's actually get into her pathetic arguments here. So it starts at about...
I'm just going to feed the world going into the future and sustain the way.
Oh, organic plants equals animal agriculture. Two separate industries. I'm going to definitely get into that more in depth later, but clearly two separate industries, right? One's plants, one's meat, okay? When you go to buy plants, it's not meat. Those are two separate things. That's like it's not only, like, you could have one company. You could have one company that sells, like say Amy's brand sells products that contain dairy, and then there's products that don't contain dairy, right? And you could buy the ones that don't contain dairy, and then you're not supporting animal agriculture, right? You would think, but with her logic, you know, even though it's two separate companies, Amy's is just one company, the exact same company, so you're just supporting them. But even though it's two separate companies, somehow when you support the organics plant industry, that you're paying for meat. Okay. But yeah, I'll get into that, how it's like really... Anyway, let's play the video. like I said, I didn't watch this whole video, but you see what I mean? Like already, like just this incredibly scary intro of like pigs screaming and stuff, and it's like it's to get you all wound up and be like, oh no, like come on, just say the arguments, okay? Because everybody just knows this is stupid right off the bat, like organic plants, and then she has to use words like sophistry and like, come on.
Many vegans tend to buy organic where they can, believing that it is healthier, more natural and better for the environment than conventionally produced.
Okay, more natural. Who cares if it's more natural, first of all? Like, what does that mean? Like, is a human more adapted to eating real food than fake food, and therefore it's more healthy? Yes. Why don't you just put it in that terms instead of more natural? Who cares? This right? Like, and in this video she states, oh, I don't really want to get into the health aspects of it, and she didn't want to do that in our debate either. And, oh, I don't really want to get into the environmental thing, just the ethics. So that's all she really wants to talk about. But then I'm just gonna totally debunk the ethical arguments anyway. So let's just go on.
Food. So in this video, I want to unpack the ethical concerns with buying organic if you are a vegan who does not want to support the industries money from slaughtering animals. I will touch on the health and the environmental implications of buying conventionally produced food, but I will go into more depth about this in future videos because I want to address the ethical concern over buying organic food first. This is because if you accept what I
You know what's funny? You know that big field that she just showed that was just totally bare and just being plowed? Like, that's what you're supporting when you're buying, like, non-organic. So, like, she's showing, like, the opposite of, like, what you would be supporting if you buy organic. Because organic has crop rotation. Right? Organic plants don't deplete the soil. What he was just showing is if you go buy non-organic plants, I'm not talking about veganic, of course everybody knows backyard gardening and veganic is the way to go, but if you're supporting the non-organic, then you're buying from monocrops, which is basically flattened ground where somebody had to flatten forest or rainforest or animals' habitats, kill animals, flatten them to make these huge monocrops. Then they run those big harvesters through that kill more animals. And that's what you're supporting when you're supporting non-organic. And she just showed that in the video, is like somehow that helps her argument. That's against your argument, what you just showed. That's what you support. Goofy.
I'm about to lay out for you as to the likelihood of purchasing organic being heavily weighted towards the category of non-vegan as opposed to vegan. And by vegan, what I mean by that is doing what is possible and practicable to reduce unjustified suffering and death. You would presumably take a supplement if you were concerned about the food you're eating not being nutritious enough, and presumably
so here's another problem with people who have no understanding about nutrition. Like, supplements are not real food, all right? So I should have pulled this up. Like I said, I didn't watch this video beforehand, but I could try to Google it really quickly, actually. So bring it up here. So let's see here. We got Harvard Health. Supplements. Well, let's see what that brings up. I think I maybe need a couple more words here. Let's see. Vitamins and supplements, Harvard Health. A scorecard. So here's what you should look up right here. So anybody who doesn't understand anything about health, you can go on this Harvard website here, who does tons of unbiased studies. And they went through supplements and they tested all of them, and almost all supplements either do nothing or actually harm you. So there's only a few, like say B12 was fine. So everybody, who's vegan, go ahead and take your B12. That's a great supplement to take. But multivitamins are terrible. Like if you're getting fully formed vitamin A, you could have vitamin A toxicity, right? Your hair could fall out. That's why you should be eating carotenoids from plants that'll convert the proper amount of vitamin A into your body and not in any excess that's going to be harmful, right? When you have excess cholesterol, excess, creatine, all these things, you have things in excess, they're harmful to you. L-carnitine, all these things that are in meat, when you eat that, they come in excess and they hurt you, right? Supplements are the same. If you have excess of vitamins, extra vitamins, they're harmful to your body. And Harvard Health has a whole thing talking about all the supplements that are harmful to you. And it's like the majority of them are trash. So if anybody who's telling you you should be taking a supplement or you should be taking a multivitamin or you should be taking this and that instead of having real food, they're morons. They're absolute morons. Or they just haven't, done the research yet and you're learning right now, which is great. But anybody who's like claiming to be a doctor, all these things and says that, multivitamins are great and all you got to do is eat this poisonous GMO food and then take a multivitamin and you'll be fine. That's not true. That's not true. That's poisoning your body twice. Okay? You should be eating the most healthful food that you could find. Okay? So yeah, check out this Harvard Health publishing from Harvard Medical School it's called Supplements, a Scorecard, talks about how almost all supplements are trash, okay? And there's another thing that I looked at too about supplements where they actually went into I think it was a Walmart, they went into the supplement section, they pulled things off the shelf and they actually tested them to see what was in them. There was things like ginkgo biloba that had 0% ginkgo biloba in it. So you're not even buying the actual thing that's on the label. You're just buying some other unknown substance in there. It's crazy. So don't trust these supplement pushers, okay? Eat real food from the earth. Okay? Anyways.
You wouldn't want to support a human holocaust by creating greater demand for it. If the products you...
Okay. You wouldn't want to support a human holocaust. So she's conflating the two, like somehow organic plants equals a holocaust, and then she's just asserting that, and then saying, you wouldn't want to support a human holocaust, would you? So, I didn't even agree that it was an animal holocaust in the first place about organic plants, and then now you're talking about human holocausts. Like you're jumping to conclusions based off a baseless assertion here.
Buying generated more demand. By putting the... I'm sure you would still want to avoid creating more demand for the human holocaust.
So her whole argument is creating more demand, okay? And she's going to elaborate on that. So this is her first major... I think this is the biggest argument because this is the only real argument that I heard in our entire debate. And I talked about that with the grocery store thing where I said about how, it's like you're going to the grocery store and you go buy, say, vegetables, any vegetables. You could buy GMO vegetables at the grocery store. Meat. You're supporting that grocery store. You're growing their business. All of a sudden, they're a huge business. And then they could lower the price on their meat, sell it for less, and then people are going to buy more meat. So you're creating a demand. You know what I mean? And then she didn't rebuttal that. She's just like, let me just run you through all the same things that I just said. Never really rebutted my actual arguments. But yeah, let's play the video here.
I'm not sure why you would be in favor of supporting an animal holocaust if I can persuade you that you are by buying organic, unless you would and can say that what is true about animals that is true for humans would make you think that it is
Name the trait, folks. Name the trait.
Okay to support a human holocaust for the same reasons. So I want to lay out how I see the purchase of organic produce as support for the very industries vegans are opposed to. 1. buying organic foods causes an increase in demand for organic fertilizer.
So buying animal products causes an increase in demand for organic fertilizer. So this is her big argument, all right? So I mapped out something for you. I just wrote it down in like 2 minutes because this is just the easiest thing to debunk there is. But, okay, where is it? There it is. Okay, so if we look at cars, what's up, Jesse? So everybody, who's vegan drives a car. Almost everybody, all right? There's people that are really concerned about the environment and stuff like that, and I love you guys. I run to work as well when I can, and, I'll use public transportation, and I'm not always using a car. I'm not even in favor of buying a new vehicle right now. I'd rather wait, and see what happens. I'm really not interested in it. There's not a big need in my life for a car, so I'm just, no point. But let's just look at cars. When you begin to understand that animal fats are used in the production of steel and rubber, among many other components used in car manufacturing, you realize that it is currently almost impossible to buy a car that is 100% vegan friendly, right? So every time you buy a car, you are increasing the demand for these animal fats. Now they also use leather in cars. They use all sorts of things, and the ones that are not vegan friendly are like crazy expensive, like hybrid Teslas made by friggin' Leonardo DiCaprio or something, like and they're totally not practical. I've never even seen one. So when you go buy a car, you're buying the same thing. But what is the product that you're buying? Are you buying the rubber? Is that what you're trying to do? Is that what is it like meat? Are you buying meat when you buy organic plants? No, you're buying the car. And there's practical reasons why someone might need a car, right? Or just society has agreed. This is the argument a lot of vegans use. Oh, society has agreed that the benefits of a car outweigh not having a car, right? So let's just look at I was in the right place. What am I doing? Okay, let's look at, I mapped this out here for y'all. So, my printing is great, by the way. Okay, so we got organic plants. If you look at the top left corner, organic plants industry and the animal agriculture industry. Now, she's claiming that they're tied in together, and when you buy organic plants, you're creating more demand for them to kill animals in animal agriculture. Now, let's look at the automotive industry. I could use the grocery store example. I could use a gym example. I could use any business example. I just picked this automotive industry example, right? So I put automotive industry and rubber industry. Now, like the thing said, there's also like leather, steel, and all sorts of other animal fats in cars, right? That come from all sorts of, animal agriculture industries, right? So a lot of those could be the main product. Like if you look at leather, it's not even a byproduct. It's like the main product, right? And it's really hard to avoid not buying some part of the car, being leather or made of one of these materials that is the actual product. It's not even a byproduct like fertilizer is, right? So if you look at the main product in organic plants, it is plants. That is the main product, and it uses blood meal from animal agriculture. If you look at the main product is cars, uses steel, rubber, leather, and other products from animal agriculture. So far, identical. And like I said, you could put in any business into this and you could do the exact same thing. Animal agriculture can lower costs from selling fertilizer / blood meal, and people may buy more meat since it's cheaper, right? So that's her main argument there. It increases demand that's her first argument, is it increases the demand for more people in animal agriculture to have fertilizer with blood meal in it. And that's what exactly when you buy a car, it increases the demand for people to make rubber and fats and all these other animal agriculture products for the cars. The same thing. So animal agriculture can lower costs from selling rubber, leather, steel, and people may buy more meat because it's cheaper. The same thing. It's the exact same thing. I mean, I can't believe how many times I got to make videos on this stupid thing till people get it. Like, I don't understand how people don't get this. Organic plants have benefits. Now, let's right on the bottom here. Look at the bottom. Organic plants benefits. So this is why somebody would buy organic. It's healthier for humans. It's been proven countless times. Every plant-based scientist, doctor who's on the highest level, all agree, major scientific consensus, that it's healthier. And you can go through like Dr. Greger's podcast where he goes through all of the studies that show over and over again that organic is healthier. There's no debating this. It's stupid. Sure, you could cherry pick a couple studies made from the GMO companies that say GMO is just as healthy or some crap. Of course there's going to be those outlier studies, just like there is in animal agriculture, with meat. You could say, oh, meat is healthy just because of this one study, or this eggs are healthy, or whatever. All vegans have seen those outlier studies that say the opposite. It's to create confusion, so you go buy GMO plants instead of organic. Now, it's better for the environment. It saves human lives and animal lives when you buy organic plants because of crop rotation, because of there's no soil depletion, helps save bees, all sorts of things. Now, let's look at the automotive benefits. Why somebody would buy a car. You could ship food in a car, right? In a truck. You could go to the grocery store, buy all your food, and bring it home easier. Now, I carry it home, so I'm not talking about me, but I buy organic plants for the reasons that they're healthier for humans, better for the environment. It's more practical and makes more sense for me to buy organic plants than to have a car. But I'm sure Banana Warrior Princess and Ask Yourself and Dr. Whatever his face, I'm sure they've sat in a car before and got a ride, right? So, you're contradicting yourself a little bit here. So you can have convenience. It's convenient to drive around in a car, right? But what's the bad part about cars? You can run animals and humans over and kill them. And it happens all the time. Kill insects, like bees, like whatever insects. And it pollutes. It also has, exhaust going into the atmosphere. So even the organic plant benefits are better than the benefits of a car. In my opinion, there's probably a couple other benefits of a car, right? Or a truck or a plane. You could go save somebody's life in a helicopter or an ambulance. You could do those things. You could have a fire truck. There's a couple other benefits, but overall, organic plant benefits are better than car benefits. But these people are okay with cars. I guess if you've ever sat in a car, you are a carnist. Okay. So, conventional and GMO, what they want you to buy, poisons humans and animals. They spray poison all over the place. Poisons the animals that are around, that are getting sprayed by this stuff. And then also poisons them when they eat it. They have monocrops, like I mentioned at the beginning, instead of crop rotation. Flattens the rainforest and flattens the forests and anything that was there before, killing all the animals' homes. And then the harvesters go through and they kill the animals, depletes the soil, kills bees, and is very unethical to farmers. And Monsanto, aka Bayer, tries to put patents on pigs and all sorts of unethical things. And you are supporting all of that instead of what's healthier for humans and animals and better for the environment. So in the corner down here, what actually needs to be done? Everyone goes vegan, right? That's the main goal. And then we could start worrying about changing legislation on things like blood meal and what goes inside of cars, all right? And maybe if you go to a gym, they don't have leather, punching bags and medicine balls there, right? You could start changing the tallow and dollar bills things, right? So if you look at the arguments, identical to every other industry, and you could even have it like as in make it even worse. Like, so I mentioned a brand. I'm not going to say a specific brand because it could be any brand of food. Like, you could have a food company that sells vegan products, but then they also sell dairy and meat products. And you're giving your money to that company, and they could then lower all their prices on all of their products, and then more meat eaters are going to buy their products. And that's the same company. And people support that all the time. People support a company that makes vegan and non-vegan products. They do that all the time. And vegans are fine with it because they realize what supply and demand is. What you're talking about, what supply and demand is not what it is. It's lunacy. It's ridiculous. So, let's listen to some more crap.
This is predominantly the manure, the slurry from the Holocaust industries, the blood turned into blood meal, which has been drained from the cattle killed for beef. It is also the ground up bone. So, everything that you just said, but insert all the things that I said for the automotive industry. Of the Holocaust victims, and even to a certain extent, the shells, the feathers, and even the minced up male chicks superfluous to the egg industry. 2. Increase in demand for organic fertilizer causes the price to increase of fertilizer. So the farmer with livestock and animals makes more money. And 3, the
exact same arguments. So 1 and 2 are the exact, I already went through both of those, exact same arguments for the automotive industry. Same thing. Same thing. When you buy a car, the demand increases because you bought rubber, steel, leather, all those things. And, it just insert something else. You could say the same thing about anything.
Farmer making more money from his fertilizer that he sells lowers his operating costs. And so, for the farmer's business of killing...
Same thing. The farmer makes more money when he sells, all these things to the automotive industry, and then he lowers his manufacturing costs and he buys better equipment and all this stuff. Same thing.
Operating costs will drop, thus creating an economic increase in supply. Now I hear some of you yelling at your screens watching this video already. Calm down, all will be explained. And I am a perfectly reasonable person who is willing to consider all of the pro-organic arguments. You can even talk to me in person in the Ask Yourself Discord server in real time.
Okay. Don't go in the Ask Yourself Discord server, and it's a setup, okay? It's a setup. She is not a reasonable person. When I talked to her, she kept talking over me every 2 seconds, wouldn't let me speak, and then she said, "You're only allowed to give one-word answers to me," and then she didn't rebuttal a single thing I said and just kept repeating the same thing over and over again for an hour or two. She's not a reasonable person. Second of all, she wants you to go on the Ask Yourself Discord so everybody could team up on you, and that's how it works. You go in there, it's a basically organic is carnist server. They'll label you a carnist as soon as you go in there if you disagree with them, and then it'll be a 20 versus 1 debate, right? They'll all talk at you all at once, and while you're trying to say your points, one person will be talking to you while other people are Googling things that they could use against you. It's ridiculous.
And the link is in the description below. Now I want to put the organic fertilizer demand equals increased animal holocaust demand thing into perspective. The statistics here show the number of farmers using various kinds of organic fertilizers.
So again, exact same thing. Let's go back to, she's doing numbers now. let's go back to, so all these people use these products. It's a numbers thing, folks. Almost impossible to buy a car that is 100% vegan. So let's say 99%. You want to talk about numbers, okay? Cars are carnists, all right? It's like, again, who cares what your numbers are? The whole premise, the whole assertion that you're basing all of these arguments off is stupid. It's dumb.
On their farms from 2015 to 2017.
Look at that. 96% not vegan. So it's even less than the cars thing, right? Almost 100% to 96. Okay? So cars are made of more meat than organic plants are. And I'm sure again, you could insert any other business. I was just like, let me look up cars. And I could have looked up something else. I could have looked up anything and found out that, this business uses tons of animal products. But that's how businesses works. There's going to be no businesses out there that are 100% vegan. You realize that? You can actively search for them and support them. I appreciate people who do that, right? And try to grow their stuff in their backyard. But for everybody, that's not practical.
Most of it is coming from the very industries that we as vegans are opposed to. So certified organic doesn't allow synthetic fertilizer, and plant-based organic fertilizer.
And the opposite, the industry that you support, the GMO crops, right? Those are the ones that they're feeding to animals in animal agriculture. Uh-oh. The ones you support, they're growing that so they could feed it directly for very cheap costs, by the way, to the animals in animal agriculture so they could be slaughtered for less money and animal agriculture can make more money. And you support that? Uh-oh. Not vegan.
Is only about 1 to 4% of the total organic fertilizer. So it's next to 100% manure or animal products. The exception is veganic, organic farming, but this is a very fringe practice at the moment. If we compare this to the fertilizers used for conventional farming, there is a ratio.
So she's kind of like debunking herself, right? Because it's very fringe, veganic farming. So then you only have the choice of the other things. So what's the healthiest? Organic. What's the least damaging to the environment? Organic, right? And the ethical thing, that is, debatable. So organic wins, right? Like I mentioned, there's nothing that's 100% vegan. So that makes it debatable, the ethical thing. But if you want to save the environment and save the lives of your family and friends and yourself, then buy organic, because veganic is fringe.
Of about 4 to 1 synthetic to manure. That's 80% synthetic to 20% manure, based on...
Every time she says synthetic, think of that Harvard study that shows synthetic is shit.
On a recent report dated the 9th of March 2018 from the Food and Agricultural Organization of the United States, which cites the nitrogen inputs to agricultural soils from livestock manure. So if the evidence strongly suggests that the most commonly used fertilizers are the manures and slurry from the factory farms and other facilities that slaughter.
Okay, she went through all of her arguments already. She went through 1, 2, and 3 so far. And they're all crap. So this video just is basically her just talking about the same thing. So it's kind of like antinatalism, right? Like you have to agree with the original premise that life is suffering. All of life is suffering before you could even acknowledge the rest of their crazy arguments, right? It's the same thing. I don't even agree with your premise of organic is carnist. It doesn't even make sense. So now she's like making arguments like you've already agreed with her premise. Like nobody agrees with the premise. So if you're listening past this point and those first 3 things are trash in your mind, then you're like, okay, well, why am I even listening to the rest of your... Hey, don't bring antenatal. Shout out to Planton. All right. Planton, you're a carnist. You ever sat in a car before? You're a carnist. That's actually, it makes more sense because it's carnist, right? Bars!
Animals, including the dairy industry, with almost 100% certainty. And by the way, this also includes blood drained from the cattle, which is dried into blood meal, and the bones that are milled into bone.
So she just keeps going, blood, dead animals. Look at this dead chicken. Look at this egg. Oh, grinders. Oh, dead. Everything's dead, chopped up, dead. Okay, I'll make the same video about cars. I'll make the same video about computers. I'll make the same video about everything else. All right.
Used for fertilizer as well, and it is possible and practicable to choose the option that statistically uses far less manure. The conventional option is more like 20.
It uses far less manure, but why is that good? I don't understand again what the premise is. Why is using less manure? Because in the world, right, soil, if you walk outside in the forest, there's all sorts of insects and animals crapping and peeing all over the place, putting fertilizer in the soil. That's how it's supposed to be, okay? Now you're saying, well, that's bad that there's poop in the soil. We need to use less poop, and we need to use fake stuff that is potentially harmful to you. So again, if you don't agree with the premise, I don't care if it uses less fertilizer. Why would I care about that? It makes no sense.
Compared to at least 96% in the organic context. And we know that farmers make a profit by selling their shit, thereby reducing their production cost, thereby creating more economic demand for the animal products. The question then becomes, are we morally obliged to choose the option that creates less economic demand as opposed to more of an economic demand for the thing?
So, if that's the case, like I said, don't buy anything. Don't buy cars, phones, computers. Don't buy running shoes. Don't buy anything. Literally any. I mean, you can find vegan running shoes. That's kind of a bad example. Maybe they do use. I'm sure they do use animal products in their machinery. Almost everything that has some bits of animal products in there that will somehow support the animal agriculture industry and lower their prices. And so then you're making them all sorts of ducats. They could just make it rain with all of the vegan money that you're throwing at them, which makes you a dirty carnist, okay? Carnism.
That we are opposed to as vegans.
All of this rich, fragrant manure makes organic crop farmer Dan Palladino very happy. He spreads...
Logan, turn off your Streamlabs till after. I don't have Streamlabs on, bro. Why do you think I have Streamlabs? Is it? Hopefully it's not lagging. Is it lagging? Because this is gold. No, this is... This is, what am I saying here? This is YouTube gaming. Is my video, it's not lagging, it's still working? Okay, that's good. That's good. All right. I just screwed with everything for no reason. I don't know what you're talking about, Jesse. Anyways.
Both cow and chicken waste on 3,000 acres of crops in Pompey.
There's enough manure out there to grow a large majority of the crops if we utilize it properly.
The next part of this video highlights how much profit livestock and dairy farmers make from...
Okay, and then she just goes on into nonsense. Now, again, if you didn't agree with the premise, oh, now how much money are they making? So in order for you to make this a solid argument, you have to show how much money they're making off the fertilizer compared to other industries. So if you look at, say, like the automotive industry, there is so much animal products going into that industry, whether it's the steel, rubber, leather, you name it. Tons and tons of things that have to do with animal fats how much money are they making off that? Right? Lots. Who cares how much money they make off poop? I'm not against poop. I'm against animals being stabbed for meat. I'm against them being tortured for milk. I'm against baby male chicks being ground up because somebody wants to eat an egg. That's what I'm against, okay? I'm not against animals taking craps on plants, all right? So again, change the legislation later on when you have enough people that care about animals. And let's not, like, Conscientious Omnivore made a good point too. It's like, one of these people in the Discord, probably Banana Warrior Princess, said, well, don't tell them until they go vegan and then tell them organic is carnist, okay? That is so goofy, and it just makes you so dishonest to do something like that. Like, and plus, I mean, the argument is stupid, but, like, let's just have everybody go vegan, don't even care about all this other stuff, and then later on, everybody will be more concerned as a whole because they'll all be caring and thinking about animals and then being like, oh, well, what about this other thing? And then all this stuff will come to light. Let's focus on one goal at a time. That's like you focusing on like, well, you know, once I'm, you know, in the Olympics, it's like, how about you get a gym membership first? Okay? How about you get off the couch before you're worried about if you're in the Olympics? Okay, because I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. So let's get you a gym membership to start. How about that?
Capitalizing on their shit. So calm down, this is open to interpretation, but I will add the caveat that if you are an ethical vegan who drinks alcohol, you are already actively seeking wine and beer which has not been filtered using fish bladders, milk or egg, because you don't want to create more demand for those products either.
Hold on here, lady. So when you're having wine and beer, you're not seeking what kind of machinery that they're using. We're not talking about that. You're seeking that there's actually no fish bladders in the beer, or that it's not made with dairy products in your friggin', you know, daiquiri or whatever it is you're buying, your Baileys, that there's no milk in there. That's what you're looking for. You're not looking for, this is the equivalent of what she's saying. So she's saying that you'd be looking for the type of fertilizer that they use to grow the grapes that get put in your wine. No vegan's looking for that. They're looking to see if it says grapes. If it says grapes and milk, I'm not buying it. But if it says grapes, I'm okay with that. I'm not worried about what type of animal poop was on the grapes. Get real. That's a totally, what's the word here? False comparison.
So, although your beverage is 100% plant-based, and regardless of how it was refined, just like your Gardein and Tofurky is, you are still creating more demand for more throat-slitting every time you purchase a product that uses animal products indirectly within the production chain. And just before I get into this, I can hear you screaming, supermarkets that sell animal products, shouldn't we have to boycott them if they were creating more demand for animal products? What about palm oil destroying habitats? What about bee?
Look at the videos. What is with this friggin' choice of footage? Just the craziest footage to drive the dumbest point across.
Pollinators being exploited for almonds. What are we left to eat now, huh? Okay, calm yourselves, right? Because I'll get to that. I will get to that. And I'll tell you how it's not the same thing. It's not the same category. Now, we need nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium to fertilize soil ready for plantation. And if we take nitrogen from manure from the animal agriculture industry and see how much profit that would actually make the farmer, this will demonstrate.
Okay, again, is she comparing, where's the comparison to like the automotive industry or some other industry, right?
illustrate my point and put it into perspective. So let's now look at nitrogen as an example. The University of Wisconsin recommendation for growing corn is 160 pounds nitrogen per acre, and that's about 72 kilos. This is the off-season weight of UFC fighter Conor McGregor going into an acre of land, which is about 4,047 square meters, the size of just over half a soccer pitch. So if you use a solid dairy manure spread at a rate of 25 tonnes per acre, this will produce 75 pounds of nitrogen per acre. And this is the equivalent to about 2 London double-decker buses curb weight to get half of Connor's weight worth of nitrogen for the soil. So to get the 160 pounds of nitrogen needed for the soil, that equates to 53.3 tonnes of manure. And that's about 4 double-deckers worth in weight of manure to get the amount of nitrogen needed. So manure ranges from $7.55 to $10 per tonne.
What is the point of this? This is how much money people make from poop.
So let's use the $7.55 to Steelman. 53.3 tonnes of manure for $7.55 per tonne.
She should compare this amount, right? So she could compare it to the automotive industry. She could compare it to how much money does GMO make off the crops that they feed to livestock that you are supporting? That's a good comparison. How much money do you think they make off the GMO crops that go directly to feed animals in animal agriculture? And you're saying buy GMO over organic. What's the price range? Let's just compare. Let's just compare like how much like meat is in the grocery store to like nitrogen in fertilizer.
Equals $402.60. Now, 15 million calories can be produced from a yield per acre of corn. So divide that by $402.60 equals a yield of 37,237 calories per dollar. Assuming you only lived on this corn, you would be generating $1 to animal.
Okay, why the hell are we talking about like only corn and monocrops of corn? Like this doesn't seem like it has anything to do with crop rotation in animal and in organic plant industry. Like it seems like we're talking about monocrops of corn now, and she's using numbers of that to, you know, like it's just so goofy.
Agriculture per 18.6 days, assuming you lived on a diet of about 2,000 calories per day. So 20 years on this diet would equate to around about $392 to animal agriculture. A lifetime on this diet would equate to about $1,471 to the animal agriculture industry. So using the ratio of...
So for an entire lifetime, it's like not even as much money as like you make in a month. In an entire lifetime, you're giving that to animal agriculture, which might use that to like make their manufacturing costs better, and then that might make somebody buy more meat because like meat is like a penny cheaper. What the fuck?
80-20 based on the synthetic fertilizer usage versus manure usage, as I indicated before, the ratio of 4:1. The numbers for conventional are as such: $1 to the animal agricultural industry every 74.4 days, assuming 200 calories consumed a day. 20 years on this diet would equate to $98 to the animal agricultural industry, and a lifetime on this diet equals £367.75 to animal agriculture. So organic corn, lifetime on this diet is $1,471 to animal agriculture, and conventionally produced corn, a lifetime on this diet is £367.75 to the animal agricultural industry. What if all vegans in the US would go from organic for the one?
What if I blew my own head off? How much money would be going to the animal agriculture industry in my lifetime if I just ended it all? Zero. Well, that's the best option. What if I lived in a tiny house? how much money would be going to, you know? Like, it's just, this is 24 minutes of just garbage.
1,600,000 vegans in the US being organic corn eaters for a lifetime, that would equate to 2,353,065
How do I skip?
million
Okay,
and
shut
200,000 to the animal to be
Get to the next
when it is
point.
possible and practicable to choose Sainsbury's stream dogs instead. So the
Girl is cherry picking large. It's cherry picking, but then it's like you realize this applies to so many things, and you're just picking out this one organic thing and being like, this is the devil, you know, like GMO crops. It's just crazy. So love your veg, right? She's promoting this because this is, it's veganic. Is it? No, it just says vegan. I don't know. I've never heard of this product before. It's probably a UK thing, but look at that. It's in plastic, man. Plastic. I wonder if that plastic is made from animal fats. How much money, Banana Warrior Princess, are you throwing at the animal agriculture industry every time you buy these plastics that contain animal fats, right? I think plastics are carnist. You could easily avoid that plastic with a conscious decision. You just go, you bring your own bags, and you don't buy food that's in plastics. You buy the fruits and vegetables that are loose, that didn't come in plastic, and you put them in your own recyclable cloth paper bags or whatever it may be. Just carry them out, because that's practical. You could just easily avoid that. But you are supporting the animal agriculture. Add up how much money that you've given to them in a lifetime worth of plastics with their animal fats in the plastics. What a carnist. I believe she knows that there's animal fats in plastics too, which makes her a carnist, and she knows it.
point is that you can argue that it causes an insignificant amount of suffering and death, but it's still some amount of suffering and death that we don't have to support. You can't argue that it doesn't create any demand whatsoever.
Same thing I just
When fruit juice mixes with Perrier.
Same thing I just said about the plastics. You can't argue that it doesn't create a demand whatsoever. You can't argue it. You're a carnist! Ah!
Extraordinary happens. Try new Perrier and juice.
Perrier juice. Carnist juice! That's carnist juice right there.
When fruit juice mixes
Why is
with
it playing
Perrier,
it again?
extraordinary happens. Try new Perrier and juice.
What's happening here? What happened to my video? What happened to my video? What's going on? The animal agriculture. Anyways, do I even need to continue? This juice almost only has 60 calories. That means it's healthy for you. You know what? You know what I think? How much money is she making Perrier juice, which probably has some sort of product that has animal products in it? Look how much money she just made them by showing her video over and over again to hundreds of people, brainwashing me. Now their supply can go down, their demand, whatever I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. It's just so goofy, man. It's so, all the arguments are just utter trash. Trash. I just can't say that enough. And she's making a series. Okay, wait for the health arguments. Like you're really gonna go through like all of like say Dr. Greger's podcast, the guy who just reviews studies for a living, and you're gonna go through his entire podcast and say that everything he said was wrong. Like, don't you think he's looked at the other studies? Hashtag trash. That's right, Annie. That's it. That's it for the. I can only stand so much trash in one day. This Perrier juice is probably trash too. Don't buy it, even if it's 60 calories. How could real fruit only be 60 calories? There's gonna be other harmful ingredients in there. Maybe water. Maybe tap water. Thanks for watching, everybody. Make sure you go out and buy organic. Buy all the organic you can afford. All right. Don't send your kids to college Send your kids to Organic College of Health. Peace out.